Let me start at page 237, the first complete paragraph, which begins the words, "the life of an advanced." And that comes to be rendered, the life of a child of God is not influenced by any historicity, either within himself or in the environment around him, but solely by directions from our Heavenly Father and His children. In particular, those that are likewise born of His Spirit. The child of God therefore avoids the chaos of what we have come to see as normal living. Second paragraph. This way of living, in fact, true living, life eternal, is accompanied by God's faculties, power, presence, and understanding. Living without God, by comparison, is just appalling. Endless chaotic living, what we think of as ordinary life, can at one stroke be replaced by life eternal. The company, the awareness of the company of our Heavenly Father. Well, the next paragraph that begins the telescopic methods of yogis, one would replace with God has instant ways of doing things, what we like to think of as miraculous, because we're so used to long, laborious processes. And simply to want to love God as an instant response from our Heavenly Father. You think how any good intention from your child is so instantly greeted with full embrace and encouragement from you. How much more it is with God. Turn to Him at any time and He'll love you to bits. It's as simple as that. It takes less than a moment. Thank you, Heavenly Father. And the last paragraph, well, man's body is a temple in which our Heavenly Father dwells with us. It's as simple as that. And so it is with every atom of creation, every breath of energy in it, every thought. None of it can exist but for the presence of God. And it is, in fact, the presence of God. But of course, seen in myopic separation and distinction to all other items, it doesn't seem godly to us. What's wrong is not the object itself, but the imperfect consciousness concerning such by us of it. And so we come to page 298, continuing that paragraph that we were on, the 20 to 50 trillion cells that make up the human body. That's 12 noughts after whichever 20 or 50 you want to consider. Now I seem to have got a stop here in my recording. So let me see if I can pick it up. The thread of what I was thinking. Well, man is a soul with a varying degree of consciousness, which gives him the freedom to experience the things that he would not otherwise choose, much of which may or may not be in keeping with what he's truly subject to in the body. In consequence, he exhausts and wears away such simply because he does not have the consciousness of God, and indeed the consciousness of his true self, which, for argument's sake, we would say is a child of God. So he exercises a sovereignty in some measure of delusion, and experiences, and therefore learns accordingly. Enlightenment is to know God, and therefore come back into a harmony with Him and all His creation. So we have it that first complete paragraph on 238, identifying himself with a shallow ego, man takes for granted that he is who he thinks, wills, feels, digests, mules, and keeps himself alive. Because, of course, he's exercising a very limited consciousness that allows him the freedom to choose inferior courses of action that in his right mind he wouldn't choose. And the experience of the consequence of such in time clears him forever. But it's a lot of time. He chooses disillusionment, and the consequence of such, that he may clear forever, being at risk in eternity, by being at risk in a universe of the transitory, where consequences are also transitory. So he learns eternal lessons in this universe, freeing himself to be in eternal harmony with God. Quite simply, we come to a point here where delusion cannot hold us, even in the world of the transitory. How much less then in the world of the eternal. You see, anyone can be enlightened in heaven, but to become enlightened here in the universe of the transitory, my goodness, that's a child of God. So we are born again into eternity from, of course, the universe of the transitory. We are indeed a child of God. Quite simply, you can arrive at a state where you're aware of what is around you here in the universe of the transitory, and at the same time utterly aware of what you truly value. Wow, bless you.